Hello, guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be looking at the Eye of Elich amulet. The Eye of Elich amulet is an amulet that has plagued me because, quite honestly, when I need it, I don't have it. When I when I don't want it, it seems to drop all the time, and it is a fairly nice amulet. Don't get me wrong. It's just one of those silly amulets that just never seems to show up when you actually are using the character that could utilize it. It also, I've had a lot of trouble actually getting this item in the correct condition because for some reason or another, the one that is in my files is broken. It doesn't actually load properly, and it's got like freezes target on there instead of a bunch of other stuff, and I actually made fun of it in another video, but I did eventually get my hands on a correct version. So let's go over it today, shall we? So this is a level 15 amulet, relatively low level, just a very low level amulet, and it is +1 to all skills. I think it is actually the lowest level +1 to all skills amulet in the game, if I remember correctly. Just simply because it is level 15. So it is literally the only amulet, I think, at level 15 that you can utilize that gives you +1 to skills. That wouldn't be like a rare amulet or something like that. All the other amulets, like Nokozan Relic and the things like that, don't really have plus to skills. They just have other effects on them. Of course, if I'm wrong, feel free to call me out down in the comments. I'll laugh about it. And we also have +2 to 5 cold damage, which is actually pretty nice if you're a cold damage character, like a Freezing Boson or maybe a Holy Freeze Paladin, because it actually does increase the chill duration, which is nice. It's not very much cold damage, and it does vary even, which is kind of odd. So it actually varies on the bottom end between 1 to 2, and it varies on the top end between 3 to 5. So I don't even know why they decided to put a variance in for an item like this that's only level 15. 2 to 5 cold damage isn't really going to be a massive bonus to your damage at level 15, but it's going to be a nice little buff. And I don't really know why it needed a variance at all. It also gives you defense versus missile at level 15, which can actually be surprisingly helpful versus the stupid fire archers in the sewers. It's actually the first time when you really come across a large number of ranged monsters, which will absolutely shred you. And that defense versus missile will help protect you from the ranged damage. It also gives you a massive +5 bonus to light radius. And I don't know why in particular they decided that it needed a variance on the light radius, but it does have a variance on the light radius of 1 to 5. So why does Eye of Elich need variances when it's such a low level item with such small effects? I don't know. But they did. They gave it quite a few variances. And then the other variance they gave it is the lifesteal. So it has 7% lifesteal, but the variance is 3 to 7, which means you can find a pretty crappy Eye of Elich with a relatively low amount of lifesteal. Now, if you find a +1 Eye of Elich with 7% lifesteal, it's actually a very, very solid low-level melee item. So if you are a low-level barbarian, a low-level druid, a low-level paladin, even a low-level Amazon, this +1 to skills and 7% lifesteal can be extremely effective on your character for quite some time until you find something better. Granted, it's no +2 to skills, it's no Mara's Kaleidoscope, it doesn't have resistances on it, and it doesn't have increased attack speed like a Cat's Eye amulet or a High Lord's Wrath, but at level 15, there's really not a lot of better amulets to put on for a little low-level character, and it just ends up being just an amazing little amulet to keep around for your low-level characters that you might want to twink out. The very interesting thing about this, though, is that you got to find it. And it's actually kind of uncommon, like I said earlier, to find this when you actually need it. And that's, I know it sounds silly, but it's the truth. So let's take a look real quick on Silo's Pen where you can actually find this item. So let's put in the Eye of Elich, and I'm pretty sure it starts with a the. Yes, the Eye of Elich. Let's look in all difficulty. Actually, you know what? Let's look in normal difficulty only. I know this might be kind of a silly thing, but let's look at normal difficulty only. And let's assume we have 0% magic find because we are a little low-level character who's just trying to get his hands on an Eye of Elich. It looks like our best bet for the Eye of Elich is actually Quest Duriel, which is interesting. So Act 2 Quest Duriel. That's a little late in the game to be getting a level 15 item, but that's an interesting place that he can drop from. Let's see if there's anything else that's kind of a lower level. And doesn't really look like it. I mean, Diablo in normal, Bale in normal, Mephisto in normal, Duriel in normal. Duriel seems like the lowest per monster that you can farm for this item in normal difficulty. Let's look at super uniques, shall we? So super uniques, the Summoner in normal, that's way too high. The Cow King in normal, that's way too high. Are any of these monsters in a lower level zone? It looks like Travancore has a decent chance of dropping it in normal difficulty. In the Spider Cavern, Sazark the Burning, Ice Hawk Riftwing in Act 3 Sewers level 1. Not seeing a lot of zones. Oh, the Dark Elder. That's a good one. So the Dark Elder in Lost City, he actually always spawns in Lost City. And he's really relatively easy to get to in Act 2. And at level 15, that might be the best choice for a farming location to try and get your hands on a early level Eye of Elich, if that's your goal. I'm not seeing a lot of other really good choices here. I mean, we've got the Summoner, which is a really terrible farming objective because you never know which direction he's in. And I'm not seeing not a lot of other Act 2 zone monsters. Most of these monsters are much higher level, and I guess this really explains the answer to my question of why it never seems to drop when you need it. The answer is because it's a higher level unique. Despite the fact that it's level 15, it only seems to drop from monsters in Act 3 and up. And at Act 2, when you get to Act 2, you're usually level 15 when you can actually use this. So by the time you get to Act 3, Act 4, Act 5, and you finally find one, you're probably rocking something a little bit better by then. So it all makes perfect sense now. But if you do happen to have one of these just sitting around in a stash, it is a great item to put on your level 15 characters. Now, some people will argue that it takes up the amulet slot. And there are other things that you can put in the amulet slot. Like, for instance, you could do Angelic Amulet plus 2 rings, which is a fairly good combo. That is massive amounts of attack rating. You could also do Iratha's set, which is a very, very nice set for the bonus to resistances, the increased attack speed, the run walk, all those very nice effects on Iratha's. It's a very, very awesome set. So, you know, it does hog up the amulet slot, which is kind of sad because at level 15, when you get to level 15, there are a lot of level 15 sets that and items that can be put in the amulet slot that really have quite a nice effect. I rather enjoy using Iratha's myself, and the dual angelic ring / amulet setup is actually pretty darn sweet too for melee characters. So it's kind of got a very tight competition when it comes to set bonuses. As far as like raw amulets go, there's not a lot of raw amulets that will actually be better than this. So if you do happen to have the angelic set combo and you're thinking about using that over this, then maybe Hoodoo on the Eye of Elich. And if you're going for the Irathas with the really nice resistances, again, maybe not the best choice. I guess at the end of the day, it really depends on whether you have it and whether you find it and what specific goal you're trying to achieve with your character. It's interesting. I tell you, there's been many times, though, that I've been on a low-level melee character, especially solo self-found, when somebody has given me one of these, and I've been absolutely ecstatic. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, and keep watching.